Hi, my name is Caden Miller. I'm a senior at Olentangy Liberty High School in Columbus, Ohio. My mentor is Dr. Deblina Day through the College Impact Program, and this is my project, The Mind's Rhythms, How Stress Impacts Memory and Brain Activity, and Meditation's Influence. Today I'm going to be covering how stress impacts memory, brain structure, and brain waves, and how meditation can counter these effects, improving memory and brain health. Stress is a natural response to challenges in everyday life. Short-term stress can boost alertness, but chronic stress can be linked to anxiety, depression, and even high blood pressure. Overall, stress is very harmful. Stress is a global issue with serious health risks. 77% of people experience daily stress, and over 70% of people face a major stressful event in their lifetime. Stress is very harmful to both physical and mental health. That is why it's so important to manage stress for overall well being. What is memory? Memory is the brain's ability to store, retain, and recall information. Encoding is what you take in the information. Storage is keeping that information, and retrieval is accessing that info to later. There's four different types of memory: short-term, long-term, working, and sensory memory. Stress influences all stages of memory. Moderate stress can boost attention and encoding and also help focus and short-term performance under stress. For example, in the graph, you can see a little stress sharpens memory, but too much stress causes a decline. Chronic stress, however, can activate the HPA axis, which produces higher levels of cortisol. Higher levels of cortisol impair memory consolidation and active recall, which also shrinks the hippocampus, forming fewer memories and harder to retrieve memories. In the graph, for example, prolonged stress is flooded with the brain and cortisol, damaging the hippocampus, making it harder to retrieve information, causing it to decrease. In a meta-analysis focusing on stress effects on memory, took 28 different studies and over 1,600 different participants. They saw an overall decline in memory performance. There was a chronic stress damage to hippocampus, worsening memory. This shows the importance that stress has on managemental strategies. Across many studies, the evidence is clear that stress hormones consistently impair memory and long-term brain health. The hippocampus is the key for learning and memory. It is very sensitive to cortisol, and stress causes the dendrites to shrink, which weakens memory. This disrupts the HPA axis regulation, and chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus, causing long-term memory loss. Stress hormones directly damage the hippocampus, leading to long-lasting memory problems. This is a study focusing on how chronic stress has an effect on the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. They took a bunch of rats and split them into two groups, a control group and a stress group. In the stress group, they were under 6 hours of constant stress every day for 4 days. In the control group, they were under no stress for 4 days. They found that the stress rodents had shorter dendrites and fewer branching in the CA3 neurons, while the control group had larger dendrites and no shrinkage at all. This shows that even short periods of repeated stress cause physical damage to the neurons, while no stress preserves healthy structures. This is another study that showed how stress affects the hippocampus. They found that the dendrites shrink, impaired LTP, which reduced communication, and came to a conclusion that stress damages the hippocampus, causing weaker in learning and memory. Stress is breaking down these hippocampal connections, making it harder for the brain to learn and store memories. Another different neuronal structure affected by stress is the amygdala, which controls fear and anxiety. Stress causes the dendrites to grow and cause hyperactivity. This leads to enlarged amygdala, which causes stronger fear and poor emotional regulation. Even short-term stress spikes the amygdala activity, and stress overactivates and enlarges the amygdala, leaving us more anxious and less able to regulate our own emotions. This is an MRI study of the amygdala and the amygdala activity. Just 30 minutes of stress raised cortisol and anxiety levels, and overactivation caused poor emotional regulation, which lead to mental and physical health risks. We can see as the control group was smaller and as chronic stress caused the amygdala to grow. This overactivated the amygdala, weakening prefrontal control and making us more reactive. Brainwaves and stress. Brainwaves are electrical signals from neuronal activity measured with something called an EEG. There are five main types: delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. Each has its own unique frequency. They are all linked to mental activity, consciousness, and brain health. Brainwaves reflect how active or calm the brain is, and each type plays a different role in our own mental state. The two main types of brainwaves we'll be looking at today are alpha and theta waves. Alpha waves are related with calm alertness and relaxation and focuses on learning and stress reduction, while theta waves are with deep relaxation, daydreaming, and memory encoding retrieval. Stress decreases theta and alpha waves, causing poor anxiety and focus. This is a study looking at how stress affects brainwaves, specifically alpha brainwaves. It took 34 healthy man adults, all around the same age, and put them into a stressful computer game. It looked at their heart rate, their GSR, and the EEG was recorded for their brain activity. Alpha waves were decreased as stress increased during the game, and gamma waves were increased as stress increased during the games. Alpha suppression worsened over time under this stress. This concluded that acute stress lowers alpha and raises other waves like gamma waves, which disrupts focus and emotional control. Meditation is an ancient practice that is now widely used and everywhere today. It combines focus, relaxation, and calms the mind and body. It counteracts what stress does to the body. It reduces anxiety, depression, improves emotional clarity, and enhances overall well-being. This quiets the stress response and promotes emotional balance. Meditation versus music study in 2024. It showed that meditation improved working memory and attention, and music had no effect at all. It took older adults, an average age around 68, and put them in a 4-week program in two different groups. The meditation boosted and sustained attention and memory and reduced stress effects, compared to the music listening, which had no effects. The meditation overall strengthened the memory circuit, improved focus, and protect against stress-related decline. Theta waves are linked with deep relaxation and creativity, like we know, and alpha waves are linked with calm alertness and clarity. Meditation increases both of these, boosting relaxation and focus. It activates the parasympathetic system, which decreases heart rate, decreases blood pressure, and decreases cortisol levels. Meditation shifts the brain into alpha and theta states, calming the body and lowering stress hormones. two different studies looking at meditation's impact on alpha and theta activity. The first one was 40-day study with students and saw meditation increased alpha waves, and participants reported better sleep and reduced anxiety, depression, and improved memory. On the second study, it was 17 to 21 age females, and only the meditation group showed a significant rise in alpha wave activity. The control group did not at all. Meditation leads to better memory, relaxation, and active recall. Meditation overall promotes a high level of neuroplasticity, which causes thicker cortex and attention in sensory areas. The cortisol thickness increases with practices of meditation and causes decline in stress, higher levels of resilience, and better emotional processing. It also counteracts the effects it has on the amygdala, shrinking it, causing less fear and anxiety with stress. It causes the hippocampus to grow, which causes stronger memory and emotional regulation. Overall, meditation reshapes the brain and strengthens memory and focuses on the areas of reducing stress and fear responses. Two different studies. The first one looking at long-term mediators. They cause a thicker cortex in the frontal region and correlated with meditation during high levels of breathing. As we can see in the pictures, the cortisol increased in size. And the second study was an 8-week meditation program that increased hippocampal volume and decreased amygdala volume. Overall, meditation reduces stress, improves focus and memory, regulates emotions, and even reshapes the brain to support long-term well-being. Making meditation part of your daily life will help reduce stress, restore balance, and improve well-being in today's world. Meditation is a powerful tool to counter stress, but more long-term and diverse research is needed. Future studies should use brain imaging, examine memory and emotional pathways, and expand meditation into real-world settings like school and workplaces. I want to thank everyone for listening today. I want to say a special thanks to my mentor, Dr. Deblina Day, and the College Impact Program. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great day.